up, y'all? It is your man, D-Real, the Black Panther, stalking the urban jungle and vibranium Adidas, bringing you Be Real with D-Real. I'm D-Real. Hey, y'all, what's cracking? How's life been? How's this almost over pandemic doing for you? Not what I want to talk about today. Normally, I'm chopping it up about something positive, or at least that's what I've been trying to do is chop it up about something positive. But it seems like, foolishness keeps rearing its ugly head. I was gonna do something along the lines of, fun, exciting, thrilling type stuff, but I got wind of the story the other day. Um, about a young man who was, well, there were police involved, there was a young man involved, and the young man dead now. Okay. It's those components again. Those same kinds of components. We add a potentially volatile situation, insert police officers, and then the next thing you know, somebody's dead. What the hell? For those of y'all that are listening on Blog Talk Radio, if you got questions or if you got a comment you want to put out, the number is 646-668-2268. Again, that's 646-668-2268. If you feel like you got something to say. If not, you don't have to. But anyway, here's the deets. On December 23rd, in Antioch, California, and that's in the Bay Area. For those of y'all who don't know, Antioch is Northern California, and Northern California, Antioch, Pittsburgh, that area around there is where the situation took place. And I used to work at Antioch, so I can tell you with all confidence, it ain't a lot of us up there. But anyway, on December 23rd, the police were called to the Quinto home. The young man's name's Angelo Quinto, by the way. Rest in power, young man. He was a Navy veteran. Thank you for your service. And he suffered from mental issues. He was a victim of depression throughout his entire life, according to the article that I was able to peruse, and dealt with that throughout his Navy career. Anywho, he was having an episode. And the police were called. The police came into the home and immediately decided, instead of de-escalating the situation, the best thing to do would be to get this cat restrained with no knowledge of his medical background or anything he deals with, and just simply decided to cuff him. When they were going to cuff this man, when they were preparing to cuff the young man, "Please don't kill me," is the words that came out of his mouth. Please don't kill me. I think that's a very easy to understand sentiment. Please don't kill me. I can't breathe. Now, as a person of color in this country, when I see things like that, it makes me think I'm an endangered species. I'm not gonna say it's a black thing, because it's not a black thing. And if my brothers and sisters are angry at me, I'm gonna tell you why in a second. But here's the thing: when these police cuffed him, they then proceeded to put their knee, a cop put his knee on his neck. It's becoming popular, apparently. So popular, we can call it the George Floyd. Not in a disrespectful way. If anything, we want to draw more attention to that, calling it the George Floyd. All right. Knee on the neck in front of his mama. I guess her thing was she couldn't take the cops that was in the room because I know, most moms are like bears, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to their kids, being in distress or in pain. But I'm not saying anything against the mama. I'm just, I can't imagine what it would be like to watch your child die and not be able to do anything about it. Or even more accurately, to watch your child be murdered. Okay. Angelo Quinto, 30-year-old Navy veteran with mental health issues, living in Antioch, California, having a mental episode. Moms didn't know what to do with him. She called the police. The police proceed to come in. He's got blood on his mouth. They proceed to come in, put the man in cuffs, put the knee on his neck, hold his legs so he can't move. Mom says she started filming the incident after her son's eyes rolled back in his head and he didn't move anymore. Question: if I got my knee on your neck and your eyes roll back in your head, are you going to keep your knee on my neck? And if you do, what does that say about you as a human being? We're talking about human freaking beings here, y'all. There's actual footage of after the aftermath when he's already on the ground, blood in his mouth, and handcuffed. If there's blood on your mouth and you're unconscious and unresponsive, what is the necessity for handcuffs? I guess that's a procedural thing, but at the same time, a very unnecessary thing. If this man is unresponsive and not moving, and if I have my knee on your neck, you can feel that I'm not responding. So why would you leave it there for a full 5 minutes? We've already shown in different videos, in different situations, that putting your knee on somebody's neck while they are in a prone position on their stomach is not only inconvenient, painful, it is also potentially lethal. Now, my next question is, the George Floyd thing, the knee on the neck thing, is that an actual police procedure? And if it is an actual police procedure, how is it supposed to be effectively executed? How do I put my knee on your neck, restrain you, and not murder you or accidentally kill you, whatever the situation may be? How does that happen? That's the part I'm trying to understand. The Quinto family has filed suit against the Antioch Police Department. They filed legal documents. Um, there are not specifics, at least I'm not privy right now to the specifics of what's going on with that case, and if names have been named and charges have been officially charged. It sounds like all it is right now is paperwork's been filed, and they're waiting to hear what's going to go down, if anything is going to go down. So what do y'all think, realists? Is this another George Floyd situation, or are we getting ready to deal with a whole bunch of rigmarole surrounding young brother Quinto's accidental death, involuntary manslaughter, or first degree murder? I mean, until details come out, I don't want to get caught out here on YouTube throwing out accusations that may not be 100% accurate. Okay. What I do know, a man is dead again. A man of color is dead again. A man of color is dead at the hands of police again. Um, y'all got to do better, police. that flat out, period. Y'all got to do better. There's no other way to spill it. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to chop it up. I mean, facts and figures, real facts, real figures going up, showing you what in the actual hell police have been doing for the past what? Well, if you're a person of color, since you've been in this country. um, and don't get me, wrong. I'm not saying police don't accidentally or purposefully murder non-people of color. They do. But if it's an outrage to you, why aren't you saying something about it? This is the question that I always ask to the people who say things like, just as many white people get killed by black people, or white people get killed by the police too. How come we don't hear non-people of color as vocal about it as people of color are? I got questions. I'm hoping to get answers. But it seems like anytime you bring up this subject, people want to argue and people want to fight, or people want to tell you to go sit down somewhere. People who look like you are dying, and they're dying on humbugs, and the people who are killing them are getting away with it. Not only are they getting away with it while we're waiting for the outcome of deciding whether or not it was accidental or purposeful, these same people sit at home on leave, getting paid. If I killed a police officer, I wouldn't be able to do that. And again, I understand there are procedures involved. Police have to follow a specific set of procedures. Okay. And like I said, I was in a relationship with a police officer. So I understand at least the part that when you do have to do something, it's got to be done a certain way. I was told, and this was, the assessment. If I'm wrong, a police officer can feel free to chime in at 646-668-2268 and correct me. But if not, this is what I was taught. Police officers are supposed to use an equal amount of force as the force being used against them. So, if I am a police officer and I am trying to apprehend you, and I put my hand on your wrist and you try to twist or hyperextend my arm or my hand in any kind of way, shape, or form, then that means I too can hyperextend your limbs or twist or turn them in any way I need to either get you to let go of me and or sit your ass down and get some handcuffs put on you. Now, if you proceed to start throwing blows at me, dropping dogs, I can drop dogs too. Or I can clack, whip out that billy club and pop you across your tender parts until you decide to stop resisting. Okay. Notice, I ain't put my hands on you. I ain't wrapped you up in no special kind of hold, and I damn sure have not put my knee on your neck. This man, from what I can understand, until more information comes out, was not being resistant. For the most part, he was being compliant. He let the police lay him out on the floor like a pancake, stretched out flat, and cuffed him, and then put the knee on his neck. Why would you put a knee on his neck after you got? If you handcuff me, put my hands behind my back, and lay me on my stomach, and then hold my legs, how much damage can I do? In fact, what can I do from that position? I got friends that study jujitsu. Fellas, if y'all watching, help a brother out. What kind of position can I move into to defend myself from a handcuffed position, prone on my stomach? Okay? I ain't no fight expert. I've studied one or two martial arts, but I know for a fact if I'm on my stomach on the ground and somebody's on top of me, more than someone on top of me, I'm probably not going to get out of that situation. At least not alive. So I have to capitulate and sit myself down and say, I'm not resisting. I'm not fighting. Do what you got to do, short of killing me. So I don't get it. I don't understand how, if you got me restrained and I'm not resisting, you just gonna keep restraining me in a painful way. Is that what y'all doing now? Because I know back in the 70s in Los Angeles, they had a chokehold. And this chokehold was legal. And that chokehold is it's actually just a standing up position for the most part of what this George Floyd thing is that the police seem to be excited about putting on folks. Where am I at with this? I honestly don't think it's a black thing, but that doesn't make me any less pro-black about the situation, if that makes sense. In a perfect world, even if we say, okay, what had happened was, and we explain it, and it's all totally plausible, the fact remains Angelo Quinto is no longer alive. And someone is responsible for that. Most likely, a police officer. What happens after all is said and done? And Zachary, why am I saying Zachary? Because I'm thinking of Siler on Heroes. His last name is Quinto too. Angelo Quinto and his family have done, and when they have done everything they can do, and everything is said, and all of the information and evidence is laid to bear, will justice be served? I was born under the zodiac sign of Libra. Libra is the scales. Scales require balance. Okay? The scales of justice require balance. We can't keep killing people, or I won't say we. The police can't keep killing people and it just nothing is done, and we're past the point where we're saying we're tired of seeing this happen. We're past that. We're tired. We're beyond tired. So what y'all need to do is y'all need to implement some new procedures. Police, flat out. You need to implement something else besides what you're doing to people. Otherwise, there's going to be more protests, there's going to be more riots, and then conservative people are going to be upset because people who are rioting and protesting are tearing up property, and they're like, how come you can't protest without tearing anything up? And then it turns into that. And then it becomes more division. And that's all I'm saying. This is just another divisive situation. Ask yourself, how many riots, protests, um, public outcries have you witnessed just in the past, let's go 2 years? A lot more than you have seen in a long time. A lot more than you have seen in a long time. And if this is, if you're young, if you're in your 20s, then this is your life. This is your lifetime. This is your walk. This is what you and yours are doing. How are we going to address it? Should we just remain silent about it and just be like, oh, well, that's just life. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it's going to be. Is that where we're at? Where we're just content to see, footage of people dying. And then the question becomes, should we stop airing this footage? Is it the footage itself of seeing someone die or mistreated or beaten by the police? Is it the footage itself that's causing it? Or is it the actions of the people involved that are causing it? Okay, because if it's number one, all we need to do is stop showing footage and the issue will resolve itself. Or if it's number two, it's not going to resolve itself. It's going to have to be resolved. Something is going to have to change in police procedure. Something is going to have to change in laws about how we can or cannot respond to the police. Okay, because where I come from in my hood, we all were led to believe that a lot of people, the majority of people who end up joining the police force, were people who were either bullied or who were unpopular or who didn't really fit in anywhere. And then they became police officers, and unfortunately, they became bullies after that. It's often said the police are the biggest gang in the country. And based on what they do and what they get away with, I'm finding it hard to challenge or dispute that. Don't get me wrong. I understand that there are situations where police officers have to use force. There are situations where police officers have to kill. But if a police officer can be in a situation with a man who has a drawn AK-47 and you can talk him down and no one gets shot or killed, but you deal with a man who looks like this or like this, and you have to kill him, or you have to put your knee on his neck for 8 minutes, or you have to put your knee on his neck for 5 minutes. That's not justice. The scales aren't balanced. And until we decide to be bigger, better, smarter, and actually address the things that are going on and address them from the standpoint of how and why they're happening, and not from a standpoint of I want to be favorable towards these folks because they have a difficult job. If they have a difficult job, then they need to be adequately trained for said difficult job. I understand a lot of things that happen in the life of a police officer during the course of executing their job is random, it's sudden, and you have to respond instinctively. And that's all the more reason why there should be remedial training for police officers, extensive remedial training, real-time training. Take these situations that we're dealing with, that we've dealt with in the past year, your George Floyds, your Breonna Taylors, and even Angelo Quinto here. Take these kinds of situations and put these kinds of situations into your training curriculum, so that when these situations come up in real life, a police officer at least has some semblance, some inkling of what to do when they are presented with these kinds of situations, and they don't over or underreact. I know that's a tall thing to ask of my police department, but damn, y'all out here killing mugs and y'all catching wreck for it. And there's going to be some kind of justice. I mean, we want this justice to take place on the up and up. We don't want street justice. We don't want revenge. We don't want those kinds of things happening in our communities. We want to all get along, but Rodney King said that back in the 90s, and look what happened. I'm truly concerned about our ability to get along in this country with one another amicably. I hope, my hope is that people who are in error, people whose judgment is skewed, can see that skewed judgment, can see those errors and correct the course before we get off into some stuff. Because I'm going to tell you right now, police officers, this millennial generation ain't having it. They quick to act a fool. And if y'all ain't feeling them, please understand that sentiment is mutual. And here's a little something to think about when you say, okay, we can shoot them and restrain them just like we shoot and restrain everybody else. Eventually, they are going to be the generation that's taking care of you when you're too old to take care of yourself. Would you want these young people mistreating you in your golden years the way maybe perhaps you mistreated particular suspects? Maybe the way a Philando Castile was treated, or maybe the way Sandra Bland was treated, and Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and the list. The fact that the list goes on and on is appalling to me. But as I said in the beginning, we need to do better. We really need to do better. This country was not founded on anarchy. But it was founded on some other things that we would really like to eventually put behind us when certain inequities are addressed. But until then, I fear you're going to have this situation for some time to come. As an individual in this country, and as an individual that is a human being that responds to human beings in human situations, my heart and condolences go out to the Quinto family. I wish nothing but the best for y'all, and I hope the outcome of that situation is favorable to y'all, because justice needs to be served. And with that, the British lady told me I got a minute and a half, so I'm going to go on ahead and wrap at this time. And didn't nobody talk to me, so that's cool too. I will see y'all on the flip side. Hey, this is Be Real with D Real. And let me say real quick before I jet, if y'all found this fruitful, comment, like, and subscribe to the Be Real with D Real page. This has been, thank you, English lady. This has been Be Real with D Real for Saturday, January 27, 2021. I'll be back next week with another interesting topic. Until then, y'all be good and be good to each other. I'm out.